Well, thanks to you and your fellow senators and President B for the invitation to be on this committee. I appreciate being in such company today. Just quickly, certainly we all are aware of the budget deficit and the problems that we face here in Arizona. And I just am eager to see what kind of alternatives and ideas are out there for taking it a different direction from what was taken in this last legislative session with the budget that was passed. I actually even heard a legislator recently say they were proud of the budget that had been passed, and that's not one that I would be proud of had I voted for it or not. And I believe that we can do better and that we have to do better for the people of Arizona than borrowing and bonding and hawking our future generations rather than cutting something that needs to be cut now. So I look very much forward to hearing this part of the presentation today, and then working with my fellow supervisors, not only in this county and in others, but then also working with you at the legislature as we come down there and meet with you to try to find solutions to the problems that we face. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now I would like to introduce to you, and this is kind of special today because actually Treasurer Martin is also acting as our governor. So I can introduce him as Governor Martin today because our governor and other elected officials are out of state. So that makes him governor for a day. And I wonder, Treasurer Martin.
Yeah, we could handle that.
Do you think we could do anything about some of the problems we've got really quick by executive order in the next 24 hours?
You know what they say, Rome wasn't built in a day, but and neither was this hole. It'll take more than 36 hours to dig ourselves out of the current fiscal situation that we're in.
Well, I turn the time over to you. I really, really admire Treasurer Martin. He has taught me a lot in the last few months, and I've went over and took a tour of the Treasurer's office, and I'm impressed with what he has done there. And so I wanted to bring him up here so that the people in my district can understand and know what is happening with the money.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair, members, and the public. If during the presentation, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be glad to stop and answer your questions as they come up about anything that's going on. First, you're probably, if you're on this side, you're going to have a hard time seeing this. But give you a little background about myself in the Treasurer's office. We are basically the bank for the state of Arizona. Every dime that the state collects, no matter what the source, it has to be deposited at our office. Tuition money from the universities, income tax, sales tax, license fees, the money from the vending machines down at the Capitol. Literally every dime has to be deposited with our office. And as the bank, we function essentially as the bank for the state of Arizona. Last year, fiscal year, we took in over $39 billion in deposits. So that gives you an idea of the real size of state government operations. And basically what we do is we collect the revenue in every day. And we don't actually wait for any of the major agencies to make a deposit. We actually pay for armored cars to go out to any major agency that has any type of significant collections, pick up the cash that day, get it into our office so that we can cover the day's spending for the state and then invest what's left over. And in the investment side, this just gives you an idea. Just one trade, we do about 300, 350 trades a day. But this is one trade that we do every single day. Back on the last business day of 2006, December 26th, we had $2.3 billion left in the bank after all the other business was done, after all the other bills were paid for the year. We were sitting on $2.3 billion. Now, I can guarantee you the state isn't going to do anything with $2.3 billion over New Year's weekend. You can argue they didn't do much with it the week before, but that's a completely different discussion. But they're definitely not going to do anything over the weekend. So what we do is we go out to bid to the financial markets. And if they, banks, large financial institutions, you know, if you've ever gone to an ATM on the weekend and gotten $20 out of the machine, this is essentially how they make sure that money is there. Based on the number of deposits or withdrawals that occurred that day, they need X billions of dollars by the end of the day to meet their FDIC requirements. So they bid on our cash to borrow it. The winner of the bid, the one that bid the highest, actually has to pay us or send us 102% in U.S. Treasuries as collateral. So we sent them the 2.3 billion. They sent us the 2.346 billion in treasuries as collateral. We'll actually make more money off the trade if they go bankrupt over the weekend than we will off the trade itself. That's not good for the economy, but again, it's providing safety for the investment. 8 a.m. the next business day, in this case was January 2nd, the trade reverses. We get our cash back, they get their treasuries back, and we were paid $1.3 million for our trouble. So we made $1.3 million off of one trade the first day of the year. We do this trade every single day. That's the reason why we do what we do to try to get the cash in as quickly as possible. Just to put that in perspective, I can run the entire trading room and the investment accounting division and all their systems for less than $1 million for the entire year. So we've already started to make a profit. This gives you an idea of our assets under management. These are basically who our customers are. And as you can see here, in the beginning of June of 07, we had about 12.717 billion in the bank. And June of 08, we're at 12.5. And you'll notice the big increase here. Look at local governments. It was about 4 billion at the end of last fiscal year. It's now up to 4.9. We've added $1 billion in local government deposits. And then you can see what's happening with the state, 5.6 to 5. See, the state has to bank with us. All state agencies do. But local governments have the option. Now, for example, City of Show Low deposits some of their money with our office, and we invest it for them so they don't have to run a trading room and do all the fiscal, the work and expense of doing that. Also, the benefit of doing this is that we pool the state and local money together, and we can command higher rates of return in DC. So we've actually been improving our shop so much that we've attracted more dollars. This actually makes both the local and the state more money, but this is where it's important. You'll notice what's happening on the state government side. In 1 year, the bank balance has dropped by over $600 million, more than $500 million. That's generally what happens. You'll notice in your personal checking account, if you're spending more than you make, your bank balance tends to go down. Well, this is just one example of that happening so far by $600 million. We also manage the State Land Trust Endowment, and I can talk a little bit about that later if you'd like. My philosophy is safety first, and this is your tax money. This is your tuition money. This is your license and fees. It's not my money, it's yours. So safety's first. Then liquidity. It's important the state doesn't bounce checks. Got to make sure the money's there when they need it. And then finally, yield. Where Orange County and Florida and some of the other communities that have gotten into trouble, they started chasing yield first, and they forgot about safety. In fact, a lot of this whole credit crunch is due to the fact that folks stopped remembering to put safety and liquidity before yield, and they started chasing yield. And that's a good way to get yourself in the paper for not good things. Our performance for last fiscal year, we distributed over $500 million. So we made and distributed, sent back out the door about $500 million. And our operating budget to run the whole office is it's actually less than $3 million now. So we actually improved our distributions by 3.8, even though the economy was down. So having that gives you a little background. Obviously, we watch with all that money moving through, we do $1 to $2 billion worth of trades every single day. So we did $500 billion worth of investments last year, just because you're constantly turning over, because the state and local monies are, you're basically investing for the float. So that money doesn't stick around, so it's constantly churning over. So we watch the economy very closely. And so I want to share our forecast going forward. This is a chart of Arizona job growth going back 20 years. And you'll notice a couple things. Look at the previous few recessions that we've had, and these are the gray areas here. Arizona generally in a recession doesn't lose a whole lot of jobs. When we go through a recession, we pretty much go to flat job growth. And the problem is we still have population growth. And so the net is a negative. Even though job growth isn't losing, we still have people coming in and there's not enough jobs for people. So it's a little bit different than the national scale. And look at where we are right now. We've had flat job growth for a while, and now we're actually starting to lose jobs. You may have read in the paper the 41,000 jobs Arizona lost. That's a very large number. National job growth, and you can see here previous recessions nationally, when we go into a recession, you actually see a drop in jobs. That's not happening yet on the national perspective, yes?
Are we in a recession now?
Arizona is in a recession now, yes.
Is that the classic definition of two-quarter strength?
Well, ironically, it's a media creation.